Welcome back to our podcast. Thank you for watching or listening to us or doing both here on any platform that you're listening or watching to. We do have another Reddit story. This one was found by Joshua Wolf. I will be reading it, but it was through him. It's an insane one, but it's not too insane, if that makes any sense. It seems like more churches do that or do stuff like that than we think, and I guess I'll explain why my thoughts are there. But I haven't read the whole
This,
thing. I've read most of it, but um,
yeah,
what's
I've been a part of some weird church stories. I had never actually experienced anything quite like this story in my life.
really
It,
No, I don't
well?
not
think I've
quite
seen
like
it
this one,
either.
not this bait and switch
I
kind
don't
of
think I've seen
situation, which
Yeah, I
which you guys
mean,
are about to find out what I'm talking about. It's
yeah,
kind
it's
of
it's
like
it's a
luring someone
pretty
in, and then it's
yeah.
like not what you're
It's a
expecting.
pretty wild switch. I just
It's the switch.
I'll explain later where I'm coming from, but this is a Reddit story, not our own personal story. So
Yes.
we do like to read Reddit stories once in a while, or reviews online or whatever it is. Anyways, this was a 3-year-old story, and I'm going to read it. So let's see
All
what it's
right.
all about. It says, when I was a kid, I church lied to a bunch of us that we were going to gather at a storefront church to watch a secular Disney movie and eat snacks. They put Disney in quotations or
they put
And secular. Like,
secular.
is there a
Disney.
non-secular Disney movie?
I
That's what I'm
would
wondering.
I
Why do you
would
have to say
debate
secular?
that the Wasimoto, the Hunchback of Notre Dame, is
Is
a non-secular Disney
it's
movie.
yeah, it's church, it's
It's,
faith-based hunchback of
is Joseph? No, that's not Disney.
just
Prince of Egypt.
those are
That's
Dream
not Disney, but it's an amazing like
Those
faith-based
DreamWorks
movie.
those two are
animation.
DreamWorks.
DreamWorks,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right. Continue with the story. As a friend, I went. A friend and I went. When we got there, we were shown Heaven's Gates, Hell's Flames, which I've never seen, which, among other things, depicted a small child being dragged into hell for skipping church with his dad and then dying in a car wreck on the way home. Okay. After that, the unordained pastor told us to put our heads down, eyes closed, and answer some deeply personal questions by raising our hands, as he was the only one looking. However, after answering this way, it became clear that no one of the church's members had their eyes closed, and they began pressuring all of us kids to go talk with the pastor one on one about the answers we had given. Turned into a bad attempted conversion carried out by way of lies. So instead of talking to the pastor, I hid under the refreshment table until my ride came.
Oh,
Many years
Hmm.
later, that same pastor, in quotation marks, called one of my family members a profanity word without any provocation, using his deceased wife's account to do so online.
what?
Okay.
Oh my
And
goodness.
then there's an edit in the
This is
bottom.
a
I'm guessing this came from maybe comments because it's a little bit random, but the edit says church members fought efforts to make the building handicap accessible because they felt it would ruin the building's aesthetics. So,
Wow.
there's a little extra
yeah, a little
story there.
extra, a little spice more to the,
Yeah,
the
like this story needed
coolness
any
of the
more
church.
spice. Any
Yeah.
more, no more spice was needed for this story, but yeah, it's a wild, crazy
Yeah.
story in my opinion.
So the way that I was approaching it is I feel like all of us at some point we were kind of maybe not lied to, but over exaggerated of how fun or how exciting or how you know life changing a certain event or something in church
Oh,
would be,
Well,
and then we
like
went.
the
Was
trunk or treat festival, or like Sunday school. They make it sound like it's gonna be like
even
so much
even
fun.
even retreats.
I
A
think
retreat,
that's
yeah.
just a you thing
Church camp.
Oh
because,
wow.
well, I gotta say from my point of view, because I've been told that you get out what you put in. So if
Yeah.
if I'm going to retreat, I'm going all out. Like I'm gonna be jumping up and down at every song. I'm gonna be on my knees. I'm going to be like I'm going to make an effort to, you know, get something out of the experience.
Yeah, but
And so for me, whenever someone said like, "Oh, this is gonna be life changing," then I was like, "Okay, you know, I'll take a whack at it."
I mean,
And I always make sure that I leave with something. And for me, the ones that they've said like, "Oh, it's life changing," yeah, they did change my life.
yeah.
But other ones, like I never felt like I was pressured or lied to in a way just so like to get the numbers up or anything like that. I I actually benefited from events, but
Hmm.
it wasn't to this extreme to where they were flat out saying a lie.
yeah,
You know,
Yeah, this
yeah,
see like a little bit of an exaggeration. This is not a little bit of exaggeration. This is like outright deception
it's
to
right.
children. Like
I
there's a difference between exaggerating, like, oh, this is gonna be life changing, versus deceiving kids to watch a horror movie when they're expecting a Disney movie. I'm like, it's
yeah.
took it a little too far, you know?
yeah,
Although I kind of understand where both of you are coming from. When I was growing up, I attended a lot of church events. Like I went to church camps, church shut-ins, church movie nights, church Sunday school, like anything you can think of, potlucks, anything. And most of a lot
I
of the
love
times I did.
pop.
Yeah, most of the time I had a lot of fun, but I said where Irvin's coming, like sometimes they did exaggerate like what was going
yeah.
to be
No, no,
happening
no.
there, like how
I've
fun it was
had
going to
I've
be.
had way more better experiences than worse. But
Yeah.
I've gone to places where it's like your whole life is gonna change, or uh, and it's not that I didn't put any effort. Like I put effort. Um, I don't put and this is between the difference between me and Amaris is that she expects my effort to equivalent to her effort, and we don't always meet in the same, like we don't worship the same way, right?
No, you guys don't.
So my effort is more being vulnerable and stuff like that. And if I open up and say a story about my life to a group of people that I don't know, or a group of people that I'm just meeting or know very little about, that's me opening up, me being, vulnerable and stuff like that. Which I've done a lot. I mean, that's not usually me. Um, and usually, if I do open up with a stranger, it's because they opened up so much that it kind of feels awkward if I don't open up either. So, but in these
I've
events,
been
I do
there. I've been
try.
there.
I have like Wolf says, I have gone to events where it's like, oh yeah, this is gonna be fun. Like you've never gone to a church like this. You never like, and it's like,
Yeah.
wow, like let's go see, right? And then it's like, oh yes, I have experienced a church like this.
They hyped up it a little bit too much. It's kind of like they oversold and underdelivered a little bit, probably on the
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
think. See, that's never happened to me.
I, it's happened to me. It's
And
happened to me.
my expectations are always high. So
Yeah, I feel like you have like pretty high expectations for events
Yeah.
and like parties.
yes,
You
Yeah.
do.
but so far, whenever somebody says like just an experience or just an example, we used to go to this event called the Choir of the Fire. And well, the first year I went, I didn't have any. I mean, I had expectations. I just thought like it was gonna be, kind of like a concert first because they told us that there was gonna be like some big worship leaders that were going, like some big worship artists. So I thought like, oh, it's gonna be a concert, and then like it's gonna be, the sermon, and then
Hmm.
that's it. That's what I was expecting. But when we got there, they did have a concert vibe at the beginning, and then I mean, and yeah, like those artists were great. And then they had another group, like it was like it actually belonged to the event coordinators or something. Like they were traveling together. They did like a few worship songs, and I was blown away because they had incredible artistry, beautiful voices, everything. And like not just that, like they were anointed. Like you can definitely feel God working through them. And then I thought that, we were going to sit down and listen to a sermon, but no, then they had this like really awesome video production and that then got incorporated to like live drama. And you
Mm.
know me, like I love that
No.
stuff. And I was like, wow, like blown away. And so that first year, I mean, that was a life changing experience, I gotta say. Like, I left there refreshed, I left there ignited, I left there like wanting to, go evangelize on the streets, whatever. Like, I was so on fire for God that I was like, okay, like, I gotta do something about this. So, I definitely left there changed. Now, we were gonna go there a second and a third time, and when the second time came around, I was like, nothing's gonna beat that first time, because I already went through the whole experience. I already went through the event, and I was like, it can't be any different. Well, boy, was I wrong. I mean, they put us in through even more surprises. Like they did the almost the same things, but they were different. The drama was different, the music was different, and like everything was like in different orders. So you didn't know what was coming next. And so again, I was like, wow, blown away. Like my expectations were already high going into it because I had experienced it one time around, and I was like, it's not going to be as good. But I was wrong, and so it can happen where you go in with high expectations and you're still blown away. You're still caught off guard. But see, this is in a good way. Because what these kids experienced, that was getting caught off guard, but in a bad way, in a negative way, I gotta
Yeah,
say.
because
Yeah,
this
there.
is something that I feel like they would almost have to get parent permission slips to show
Yeah,
kids a scary movie
yeah.
like this, like, and just to trick kids thinking it's a Disney movie.
Have you guys seen this
Mm,
movie before?
No.
no, I've seen movies like kind of like
Okay.
horror, scary movies
It
about
sounds
hell.
kind of like, those rapture movies? It sounds like it's that vibe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like scary for kids. Yeah,
Yeah.
I never even heard of this movie.
I
I
mean,
got scared of rapture movies and like end of the world
I'm
apocalyptic
wondering,
movies
is
when I
it
was a kid.
made by any sort of Christian
I'm
production?
gonna get that
Or is it made
information
by like
in just a
Hollywood?
second. Heaven Gates,
I
Hell's
I
Flame.
am wondering it's not even like a Christian
Not even Christian.
film company or something,
Um,
production company.
and I agree with what you're saying about the whole parent permission. Me as a parent, if I had signed off for our daughter, like today, she actually had a field trip. She went to the movie,
Yeah.
and she kept telling us we're gonna watch the Lorax. And Urban and I kept thinking, you're not watching the Lorax. Like it's not in the theater. So
Yeah, what are you talking about?
yeah, I was like, you're not gonna watch the Lorax. And she kept insisting, that's what I'm watching. That's what my teacher said we were watching. So she went on the field trip. She came back from school, and we were like, "What movie did you watch?" And she was like, "The Lorax. I told you." And we were like, "Oh, okay. So you did watch the Lorax." But anyways, that Urban and I signed when we signed that permission slip. They said they were gonna go watch, like a PG, G-rated movie. And so
Yeah.
that's what I would expect as a parent. And if she ever came back and said, "Oh, we watched something scary," like it was definitely PG-13 or rated R or whatever, I would be livid as a parent. I
Yeah.
I would definitely, well, first I would want my child to contact me immediately, as like while it's happening or soon
Yeah.
after, so that I can
Yeah.
address it to the pastors myself, so that I can say like, "Hey, this is not what I signed up my daughter for. This is not what I signed up my kid for.
Yeah.
That's like a serious. It could be a legal issue, to be honest, because you're
Yeah, almost. Yeah.
yeah, because you're
Imagine
exposing
so.
you're exposing children to something that wasn't the consent of the parent, and
It
not
can be
because
detrimental, like psychologically,
oh yeah, it can.
traumatic experience for children.
Yeah, I think it was for this person since they're
Yeah, absolutely.
turning to Reddit to express all their feelings and everything.
This is
I,
pre-phones,
Okay.
because
pretty
the
fun.
only way you can buy it is through VHS. Apparently, it's a popular play that happened in the 90s,
Mm,
80s maybe.
Oh.
Um,
mm, it's,
and it got recorded by a company called, let me get the right name, Reality Outreach Ministries Incorporation.
Oh. So it is by a
mm,
It is a
well,
small Christian organization.
seemingly based off the name.
Yeah,
Although I'm not familiar with that organization.
so it's a live production though. It's like it's a recorded live production. It's not even like
so it's more like a
it's a play. It's a drama.
dramatized.
Yeah, it's a drama.
Drama, okay.
There's a lot of good reviews on Amazon saying like it's good material to evangelize. I don't know who
Oh.
are these
Oh.
people, but a lot of them
Spearmonger
said
children
I
into getting
bought this
converted.
to craft a play in church. My grandson loves this play. Uh, yeah,
Are you
there's
sure
quite
that's
a
the right
few.
Does it
play?
have a
Are you
rating?
sure that's the
I mean,
same one?
like
It's a 4.2 out of
no, no, no,
5.
no, no, like the or PG 13 or whatever.
It
Oh,
doesn't have a rating, does it?
no, it doesn't have a
Or
rating.
Yeah.
something.
Nope, no rating.
Oh,
There's
I
no
mean,
rating to it.
it
So
does, it
it's a
deals with,
production. So
yeah, but it shouldn't be shown to children if it deals with frightening or,
yeah, so
scary
yeah.
I'm
themes,
wondering
obviously.
how young this person was because the church members were surrounding the group of kids. They were looking, which comes to the next point. Have you ever been in that situation when they say, "Okay, close your eyes and no one's watching. No, raise your hand."
Well,
Like,
you raise your hand and saying, "I see that hand. I see that hand."
yeah, do you guys participate whenever they do that? Because I
I mean,
almost never do. Like, I
I
have
don't
to really be
really
in the
know.
moment for me to participate, but
Yeah, I think for me,
I can't recall, to be honest, but I don't think so.
yes, I have to feel called by God, like if someone prompts me, but again, it's like how Irvin said, like if I'm feeling it or if I'm in the moment, then I'll go ahead and participate. But there's times where like a prompt will be said, and I don't know, like sometimes I'll just out of obedience, I guess, I'll raise my arm or whatever. But if I know for a fact they're waiting for someone to raise their arm so that they can go either pray for them or so they can call you to the front,
yeah.
that's when I'm definitely
We're gonna
not.
call Sister Amorous for
Yeah.
stealing.
No. Not like
Yeah.
that, but for example, like they end up saying like, oh, you just accepted Christ for the first time, and we'd like to pray for you, and we'd like to give you a Bible. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna do that because I mean I already have
So,
Christ in my
yeah.
So
heart.
yeah, it's like if you have ever stolen, raise your hand, or if you've ever done this,
Yeah.
raise your hand. Like
Oh,
they're
see,
saying
Yeah.
deeply personal
I
questions. They're
don't think
trying to like,
I don't think I've ever had anyone ask that.
if
Like,
you've ever lied to your parents, raise your hand.
well, see, I've had people ask something like that, but like, it's obvious that everyone is gonna have their hand up, and if they don't, I mean,
Yeah, so
you're
I went to camps when I was younger, and some teachers would ask questions like that, like super general. Like, have you ever had, bad sexual thoughts? And, all the boys would be like,
Mhm.
ooh, right? So it's like, see,
Yeah.
like, it happens to all of us, and that's
Try
what
to
we
like
have to
make it
pray.
everyone feel like it's
So,
like
that's
it's
that. You think that's general? I feel like that's very personal still.
well, I mean, I got asked that, like maybe not that exact question, but I got
for
asked
12 to
something like
13-year-old
that when
boys,
I was being
perhaps.
talked
Because
about.
I don't think
Uh,
we got asked questions like that, and if they were asked, I don't. think anybody raised their hand because
Yeah.
I mean that could be embarrassing.
I was really shy as a
Closing.
child, so I didn't. I definitely wouldn't be raising my hand.
They were asked us also like, who has lied or who has cheated before in in a game before or something like
Oh,
that. And
Okay.
smaller sins
yeah,
that almost
stuff like
everyone
that.
has done.
Yeah, I would have
Um,
my hand up.
so
I
I
would.
went way too personal with that question with you guys apparently.
Oh yeah, because you're like,
I was
so
like,
which one of you has watched porn?
Yeah,
The
no, they
kids
didn't
are
ask that
raising.
question.
I mean,
No.
that's
Oh,
basically
okay.
what you were asking.
That's what it's kind of sounded like. Okay.
Yeah, no. But anyways, yes. Yeah, I mean, I've been asked that and kind of like, raise your hand. And I also don't mean, because this happened in our church here in Mission this past time, where like this says, okay, if you're needing prayer today, or if you're needing like encouragement, or if you're just needing more of God in your life, please raise your hand.
Mhm.
Like, I don't mean that. That's
That's.
that's different, I feel.
I feel like that's less personal than asking like, have you ever
Yeah.
stolen or ever lied or
Yeah.
have you
Which
ever
it sounds like it
cheated?
was that, because they were responding and they're like, "Oh, you need to talk to the pastor about that." That's how
Hmm.
the parents or the
Well,
leaders
Yeah.
there
they
reacted.
they made them close their
So
eyes.
making is like it's using like you're pointing out their sin so that way you can convert them and making them
Right.
Yeah.
acknowledge their
They
sins.
made them themselves close their eyes, but they mentioned that it was obvious that the people that were like the adult people, I guess, that they didn't close their eyes. So that way they could see, like, oh yeah, that kid is sinning, or that kid did this, that kid did that. That I like how you said, so they can manipulate the situation and see who was going to need like prayer or whatever, who was going to need
Yeah.
basically they were taking it as a confession of their sin, saying like, okay, you just confess your sin, now you gotta repent for your sin.
Yeah.
Repent and be converted and
Yeah.
it's just all it started with manipulation and it seemed like it just continued with manipulation. Like deceiving the kids.
Yeah.
Like obviously initially with a Disney movie to
Yeah.
a scary movie about hell.
It's
So
it's it's it, so if we look at the story, it's an outreach event. Um, I mean, it's not the best way to outreach,
no,
first of all.
I wonder if they
Uh,
had flyers like come watch a Disney movie,
yeah,
eat snacks, have popcorn, have some,
yeah,
candy, and then it turns into like
Yeah,
but
that's
a
wild.
scary movie.
I've done multiple events and camps, and you guys have helped in those events and camps for
Hmm.
outreach. Um, I feel like, because like there was times that it was like I feel like I need to be out there more and telling them about, come to church, come to this, come to that. And then times I feel like, man, that's being too pushy.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
whereas there's times that I would tell my members like, hey, if you know the persons, invite them. And
yeah.
don't push them about it. Just invite them. And I feel like that worked better. Um, there was a girl, a lady actually. No, that's not really a girl. She's my age. I won't say her name, but it's nothing bad. She helped me almost from the very beginning in my outreach ministry there in Oklahoma, and she knew a couple of families that would come to these outreach events. So she was a great help when it came to like, hey, go talk to these ladies and invite them to church, or invite them to Bible study, or invite them to English classes, or whatever like programs we had. And that's how my classes and programs started. Was this lady knew people? They would come to the secular events, I guess you can call them that. Like we would do Cinco de Mayo events, and we would do Wolf. You helped me with the soccer camp one time, and
Yeah, that was
um,
very fun.
we had Amity will help with the children ministry. We had Christmas events, and we had
Fall
Angel
festival.
Tree and Fall Festival, and Easter Egg Hunt. There was a bunch of
The
events.
fall festival
Uh,
was huge.
yeah, so and the community was predominantly Hispanic, so they would come to these events, and The more people that were already in my classes that were there, I would just encourage them. Hey, if you see someone that you know, yeah, I mean, introduce them to me if you want, or just invite them to the classes, and that's how the ministry there grew. But it was never like I never felt like I was very pushy. There
Mhm.
was times that I feel like there was pressure maybe from the congregation to like do more and ask for more and let's grow, grow, grow. But I don't think I ever was very pushy when it came to outreach. Now, would I have done something like this? I would have done something like this. Well, no, let me
You
rephrase
would
that.
do something
I
You're
like
like,
no no
this?
no no
Can
you're
you
no.
like,
Let
please
me
clarify?
rephrase this.
Me and Maurice are like,
I would have done
what?
something like let's show a
I'm
movie.
like, Urban, we
Like
have some
let's show a
serious talk
family
to do.
movie. Sorry, I would do something like what they were expecting. Let's show a family movie outside. Bring your picnic blanket. We'll have popcorn,
Hmm.
and we'll have information about what we offer in our church. But we're not gonna push it to you, right?
Yeah.
If
They should
you want to get it, then get it. If not, watch the movie. Have some
they
popcorn.
should have showed a more appropriate faith-based movie for
Yeah,
kids. Like
yeah.
Prince of Egypt was the one I watched when I was a kid.
I
A
mean,
lot.
it can low key be scary too, but
Yeah, it
but
can be, but
still,
it's a little I was about to say it's a little, but it's not at that level of scary.
right?
It's a little bit more like, but our parents knew which movie we were gonna watch.
Yes,
yeah,
Prince of
yes,
Egypt was more appropriate,
yeah,
like
yes.
faith-based movie.
Well,
yeah,
see, I'm thinking like my parents. I don't know if you remember, like 2 years ago or maybe 3 years ago, they hosted a movie night as a parent night during VBS week. So instead of having the regular Wednesday service like they would during VBS week, they decided that Wednesday night to make it a parent night. So that way the kids that were attending the VBS could bring their parents to the church and it was going to be a movie night. But I think, if I remember correctly, they advertised what movie we were going to watch.
yeah.
And I had a lot of parents, because I had some people that I had invited to the VBS just by posting on Facebook. And then whenever I posted the movie night, some of the parents were specifically asking, what movie are we going to watch?
Hmm.
And so I asked my dad, like, hey, what movie are we watching? Because there's some people asking.
And it
And,
was something
and he said,
like like the War Room, right? It was something like
It wasn't
that.
the War Room. It was a movie about a kid that accidentally drowned, and he was like in a coma, but then he came back to life.
Was that 90 Minutes in Heaven?
No, it's
I
kind.
don't
He never
remember.
saw heaven.
Oh, he didn't go to heaven?
No,
I don't remember the movie.
I don't think he
I
did.
don't know
But
what it is.
the story is more about like the faith that the family had outside, like of him, of the little boy that was in the coma.
Hmm.
Like it was more so about the mom's faith because even the doctors, they wanted to pull the plug, and the mom kept saying like no, like I
Hmm.
know he's gonna be
That's good.
okay, type thing, and she would pray and this and that, and then a lot of the community came together in prayer. People were like outside of the hospital. They couldn't go in the hospital, but they were hosting like little worship sessions outside the hospital and stuff like that. And then like a lot of people in the community, even in the school where the little boy was, like they came to Christ and stuff like that. So it's a really good movie. I can't remember the name, but anyways, whenever those specific parents were asking like, "Hey, what movie are we watching?" I asked my dad like, "Hey, there's people asking what movie we're gonna watch," and so he told me the title. And again, I wish I remembered what it was called, but um, I he told me the name of the movie and then like what rating it was. I believe it was PG. So then I was like, oh, okay, I'll let them know. And so I, was kind of the mediator there to make sure those parents' concerns were met because, as a parent, you want to make sure that your kid is going to watch something appropriate. Even if you're going to watch it as a family, you don't want something to pop up that maybe you haven't discussed with the kid.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in this situation, it could have been like death, or it could have been, I don't know, like
Yeah.
something serious where you maybe haven't had that conversation with your kid yet. So then maybe those parents, they reserve the right to
Yeah.
make the decision and say like, you know what, that movie's not for us, so we're not going to be attending. But luckily, I think that everyone that I had invited decided to go, and I mean that movie had most of us in tears. Like, it was a pretty good movie.
Yeah.
And it had a really good message. And in the end, I would say it was a successful event because,
Yeah, I'm surprised we haven't done more
right?
movie
Because I
nights.
think well, maybe because of the location we have right now, but
Well, even with the other location, they
it was
didn't.
just like a one and done thing. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think it was nice because, I mean, in general, the church is not just for us to, go and do like the whole routine thing of doing the worship service and the sermon and communion and those things. We should also do things where we can be in fellowship with one another, and I feel like the movie, that's what happened, was we were able to talk about the movie, but not just that. Like, the church had provided drinks, they provided popcorn, so it was nice for us to
Mhm.
to eat in church,
Yeah.
because other than
Yeah.
how they say how to break bread, other than like doing communion, because we do that every Sunday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was nice. I think I remember, if I remember correctly, they said that you could bring your own snacks too. Because I
Mm.
remember one of the moms was like, "Oh, I'm gonna take hot Cheetos," and so
Of
she took,
course, hot
yeah, yeah,
Cheetos.
yeah. So she
Of
took
course.
hot Cheetos, and then I was like, you know what, that's a good idea. And I remember, I think I had asked Irvin like, hey, let's go to Dollar Tree and let's go get some snacks. So we got some snacks for ourselves. I think he also got hot Cheetos, and then I got like stuff to accompany my popcorn. And so it was nice also because in stuff like this, it wasn't just, for the church itself. Like, it really was more of an outreach thing. So
Yeah.
we got to see families of those kids that were attending the VBS, and even though some of them belonged to another church, I mean, for a second they were like, you know what, we can go watch this movie. And so it was nice to have other fellow brothers and sisters in Christ there. But then there was also those parents that, they're
Yeah.
not Christians,
Yeah.
and so it was nice for us as Christians to welcome them to what we call our home, and to show them how we are as a church family, so that they can kind of get the feel of like what it would be like if they came to our church, that you know, we're not just people that sit and you go in, you go out. Like, we actually have conversations. We actually,
Community.
yeah, we have a community. We have that brotherhood, that sisterhood. We have things that we can relate to. Like, most of us were the parents of the kids, so they can relate to us because like we're parents, they're parents, and we mostly have kids that were the same age. So it was a way for us to bond, and like how you said, to create that community.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of events. Yeah, we've done that work. I mean, that one was an outreach to an extent, but it was also a way to just kind of be be in community with our own church
Right.
in a way. So I was nice. The other
Yeah,
weird
I
thing
would.
about this one, Wolf, before you continue.
I was gonna respond to her
Oh, go for it, go for
Oh
it.
yeah, I was gonna respond. I do agree 100% with you. Like, even if it's a Christian or a faith-based movie, there are certain elements or themes that should be discussed. Like you mentioned, like such as death or sickness or disease. Like, there's certain elements in even faith-based movies that parents would want to know about. So you can be like, oh yeah, it's a faith-based movie, but the parents don't know which movie it is. They still need to know because you're right. They may want to introduce some things to their own children and explain it to them in their own way. And that's what parents should be able to do. But as far as the community thing, of course, yeah, obviously, I think, movies are a great way of having community. I remember when I was like 11 or 12. I remember this is funny. I went to a movie night at church, and you'll never guess what movie we watched. We watched Pirates of the Caribbean.
Oh
Oh
wow.
wow.
It was
Uh,
not a faith-based movie. And
yeah,
honestly, like that was something I was like, okay, I wasn't expecting that. But that was just a side note. But
yeah.
uh
Which I think it's okay. Like I think if the movie doesn't have too much, I don't think a Pirates of Caribbean is church friendly, but other movies that
it's
maybe
pushing it. It's
yeah,
pushing
that
it.
one's pushing it. But other movies that are PG that maybe have a good family
Mm,
message.
Mhm.
It's not in your face Christian, but it does have
Yeah.
Christian values.
Like Toy Story.
Toy Story.
That one's pushing it.
You got
Toy-
offended me.
I don't know.
Like you got
mm.
We
offended
gotta
Lion
me.
King. Lion
we
King.
gotta exercise those toys. Uh,
Those toys are kind of spooky.
Lion King has a beautiful story behind it. I'm
Beautiful
gonna
story.
mention it really fast. But the composer of Lion King, which I'm gonna get his name, I think it's Zimmer, but I'm
And
gonna make
Hans
sure.
Zimmer, I think.
Yes, Hans Zimmer. So Hans Zimmer lost his father when he was a young boy, a very young boy, and he kind of had like this like struggle with being raised single parent, but also not knowing his father. Just coming to terms all his life. In one of the interviews that they interviewed him for Lion King, he said that when he wrote the score for Lion King, specifically where Simba is running away and when he comes back, like that. I don't know if you remember Lion King. There's
I
like this
remember that
whole
scene. Yeah.
orchestral background
It's
music.
wonderful.
It's just music. There's no lyrics. Him returning back to Pride Rock. Yeah, he says that he wrote it as a requiem to his father, his late father,
Wow.
and that
Oh,
it helped him cope with the death of his father, and that it wasn't until after like
that's one of my favorite scenes in the whole movie.
yeah, so it wasn't until after him writing that he just felt peace with his father's death. Like he was already an adult, obviously, but yeah, that's just a beautiful thing about it. It makes the Lion King a lot better.
Yeah, there's a good message in it. There's a good
Yeah,
message.
yeah, yeah. Because like whenever and I'm going way off topic, but whenever you're a musician, you want the lyrics and the music to match, and especially with those dark tones that Lion King has, is such a beautiful thing that he, as a composer for just music, the lyricist was Elton John and some other dude. I think it was Tim something. But anyways,
Rice.
was it Tim Rice? Yeah, I believe it was Tim Rice. Uh, anyways, but him as just he's just writing notes. It has to match the passion to what's happening in the story, and he really did a good job. And it's because it's something that he can actually relate to. He also lost his father at a young age, and it wasn't until adulthood that he was able to cope with it and come to peace. So, yeah. So yeah,
Hmm.
I agree, Wolf.
That was a good side story. Good. That was good.
Yeah, it's a
I learned something.
good
I didn't know
church
that.
movie. Yeah.
It
Oh,
is a good church
I
movie.
love Lion King. I have not seen the Lion King since my dad's death.
Oh,
For that reason, I don't
mm.
think that
You're
I
not
could
ready yet, huh?
survive. No, I don't think I'm ready yet. I wouldn't survive through that. So I would be bawling. Um, anyways, back to our story, our Reddit story. What I wanted to mention, the last weird part about this outreach event is that it was a drop off. I don't know if you noticed that.
Oh,
He needed to wait for his parents or his ride to get come for
Oh,
him.
that's
so he
also
was
weird.
stuck.
It's weird. Like
Why are
you're new to the church and they just
Drop
yeah,
drop
off.
you off.
but why are
They've
they
never been.
targeting the kids in for like evangelistic purposes? That's really weird.
Yeah,
Like
like
I kind of understand it because like BBS, like obviously we're trying to evangelize
You
to the
do that
kids,
too.
right? But for like a movie event, I don't
yeah.
know.
Well, then why are they targeting to fearmonger children? That's what I wonder too.
Yeah.
Out of all the people they could fearmonger and trick into watching a scary movie about hell, why are they picking children?
Well, it wasn't scary. It was an act. It was a production.
Well,
I don't want to downsize his story.
it sounds a
Uh,
small child being dragged to hell sounds scary to
That does sound
me.
scary.
Are you,
yeah,
that's
I guess.
scary, especially for a child. I'm going
But
to
you can
stand
only
firm on
do
that.
so much up on the stage. I mean,
But
and
that's
it's the '90s and
scary.
'80s.
It's
Like,
still, as a child, I would be scared,
it was
even
probably
with
just
that.
like
If for
that
adults, it's
plane that
not that.
moved back and forth.
Yeah, but for adults, that's not scary. But for a child, it could
I
be
did a
trauma.
plane once,
You did a
and that's
plane.
what I did. I
Uh,
just went like this in my hand.
For a child, that's
it was
scary.
10 dancers just passed by the stage going like this.
Yeah, you have
That's
to either like have a light on you where it makes you look like fire,
Yeah,
or you have to have like little like ribbons in your hands
yeah.
that they move.
No, but no, I agree. I agree with for a little kid.
a little kid,
Um,
it's scary.
you know, and another tangent. The movie that I watched when I was a little kid that I thought was like, why did my parents? Well, first of all, I guess I'll start with this. My parents didn't really watch trailers unless they were on TV, right? And this one
Mm.
didn't have TV trailer. They were just told like it's gonna be really good. And I remember because Mission has this old theater, and they only showed back in the day. They only showed the best movie um, on the theater, and people would line up, and because it was cheap, it was like $1 per person. So we went as a family. I remember waiting outside, and it was The Passion of Christ, and
What?
I watched it when it released.
Oh, I did too, and
I
I
actually
was
saw it
young.
too.
Yeah, so
I was.
it's a
Excuse me.
2004
Yeah, I was gonna say I was
film.
in fourth or fifth grade.
So we were around 10 or 11
I
years
wanna say,
old.
yeah, like
Yeah,
10. Mm-hmm.
10 or 11 years old. Yeah, and I remember bawling in that movie. It's a very graphic movie.
I was.
Yeah, I watched it when I was 11. That's when it came out. I
I
was
Yeah.
bawled
11 and I cried too.
the first time I watched it, but then my parents they bought it, and we watched it over and over and over
Oh
again.
man, that's a
That I
lot. It's a lot to
Well,
deal
I
with,
became
especially as a
like
child.
numb to it. Like now
Mm.
I could just watch it and just watch it. Like I won't cry.
Yeah, I still
Because
cry.
you,
I still
I
cry.
would probably still start tearing up. It's hard to watch.
I think I tear up more like if watching the act and the scene itself, I won't cry. But obviously, if I start thinking about like, oh, see, that's gonna make me
Gosh.
cry right now. If
What
I
thing about
start thinking
Jesus?
about the fact that Jesus did not deserve that at all, and that Jesus did it for me, for everybody, then I will cry.
Sorry.
But like if
Yeah,
I'm just watching it, I won't cry.
yeah,
I have to really think about like the act, like what he did, why he did it, type thing.
yeah. So on that note, next year we're gonna get the sequel to The Passion of Christ. Uh,
Oh,
it
I'm
has
looking
been
forward to it.
it has been confirmed by Mel
It's called
Gibson.
The Ascension.
No, it's called Passion of the Christ Resurrection.
Resurrection.
So
Mel Gibson makes great films, so I'm
Mel
excited for it.
Gibson, yeah, yeah. Even
Like
though he's a Vatican,
Braveheart,
um,
Apocalypto,
he's
I think
a
was one.
Vatican I Catholic. So, which we don't have to get into that, but he's a like he believes in like the old style of Catholicism. He believes that it should be in Latin.
That's why the movie was the way it was.
That's why the movie was the way
It
it
was in
was.
its
Like
like
he is a purist when it comes to religion. So yeah.
didn't
Like
he almost not want even want subtitles, English subtitles in there?
Yeah, we
yeah.
got him.
No,
We
no.
got some
The contemporary Catholics to him probably looks. They seem probably like Pentecostals or whatever.
Yeah.
That's like
We
to that
did.
extreme.
I wish we would have gotten it dubbed, but you know what? We at least got them
I
subtitles.
actually like it in that language, Aramaic.
Yeah.
I mean, it's nice,
Aramaic and
and
Hebrew.
I
I
think
mean,
that
It
it's in
adds to it,
it
I
makes
think.
it more
It
powerful.
makes it more powerful.
More powerful for sure because that's the original scripture. I guess like that's how it was.
Yeah. So for now, the guy that played Jesus is confirmed to come back,
To
as
be Jesus
well
again.
as the his mother Mary
Jim
and Peter. Those are the three only ones that have been
are coming
confirmed.
back.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
he's gonna be
then
it's gonna be a great movie. He's a great actor, so it's gonna be
he
great.
really is. And then I mean Mel Gibson, he might have his little flaws, but he's he's a good producer and
Did you
director.
guys see Jim's movie, The Sound of Freedom?
No.
Did you
No.
see it? Okay, it was a recent. Some would consider that almost like a there's a lot of
Yeah,
faith-based elements
I
in that
hear
movie.
people say
Yeah,
it's a nice faith-based movie, but a lot of I have a friend.
it's darker themed though.
Yeah, I have a friend that works for the FBI, and she was like, "Yo, this is accurate. Like, y'all gotta watch this." And I was,
Yeah.
but like, since I'm a mom to four girls, like, I'm like, oh, I don't know if I want to watch
Yeah,
it.
it deals with
Um,
children children
Yeah,
trafficking and, very dark themes, but
we went to Mexico
really
this
good.
weekend, and I we left the girls with my mom. I don't trust going to Mexico with my kids. Like even when we go to church to their side, like I'm always like looking every single way,
Yeah,
like because
someone
there is a
snatch them
lot of
up.
human trafficking out there. Yeah. So we're
Yeah,
gonna end the podcast now. This is a really good topic that we're ending with, which we probably should make a podcast on just movies.
faith-based movies.
Yeah,
Honestly,
movies,
that would be great.
yeah, we
movies
should.
that are not Christian but have a faith base
Christian.
or whatever. So we should probably do that in the next podcast. Get our top three maybe and talk about those.
Maybe
Uh,
just one at a time.
No, one each, three
yeah,
movies.
one each. We can do
We'll
one
pick a faith
each.
like
Yeah,
a
Yeah.
movie
and
that's not.
I guess we can't do Lion King anymore or the movie you just mentioned.
Yes, I can still do The Sound of Freedom
Yo,
if I.
wait, you can watch the movie from this Reddit and see what it's about.
I'm not watching that movie.
we can also watch
I'm
them.
not watching
We could
that.
probably find it on YouTube. Uh,
I'm not.
Oh,
so
yes.
it's 90 minutes long though. So
I'm not committing.
yeah.
No.
Anyways, thank you guys so much for listening to us, watching us here on YouTube. We're gonna have apparently a good fun topic next. And we are starting to do more and more of these videos. So make sure you're watching them. Make sure you're following us on social media. Leave us your comments and suggestions if you have suggestions as well. Thank you so much for the support and love. And we'll see you next time. Like always, see you guys.
Bye, guys.